On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
It's me.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful.
Fantastic. You don't sound like you're in a coffee shop today.
I am. It's just a quiet day today.
Wow.
It's a very cold and windy day.
Yeah, it's windy here too. They are warning against power outages and stuff. Awful.
I mean, the thing is that one thing I was walking down the street that I realized, when you are not a certain weight, you get manipulated by the environment. Like, I couldn't walk down the street.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I think
the wind literally blows me, either stand still or it blows me back.
I think people that weigh a little bit more than you probably also have trouble standing up.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think that there's a threshold where if you're government standard obese, then the wind doesn't move you. I don't think it's
Really?
like that. Yeah. Just be
I
happy.
don't know.
Be happy it's not raining. Then your umbrella wouldn't even work.
I'm happy it's not raining, but I'm going to test your theory
All right.
because I'd like to. I'm not saying government standard obese, but I'm saying
Yeah.
if you were like 2 and change, I don't know. I didn't know.
So.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm actually gonna Google that, and I'll get back to you on that.
I don't know if Google's going to be able to answer that one.
Government standard. So who should I talk to? Dr. Ron? Professor Ron?
I think next time. Well, there's a win today when you're walking back to wherever you're going. Find a 200-pound man. They shouldn't be hard to find. They should be even exceed 200 pounds. And say, do you feel like you're being knocked over? Or just observe. Don't even talk to them. Just observe the way they're walking. And see if you can walk like them. And if you're not able to, then I guess you're right.
Okay, Dr. Ron, Professor Ron.
Yes.
I'm gonna marinate on this.
You marinate that.
I threw it out, and you knocked it back very quickly. By the way, government standard obese.
Well, I was kind of kidding, of course, but I
understand because isn't there a guideline of the government
for everything?
For everything. So there's a weight height situation for all of us. Good looking people on this earth.
Yeah, for wind especially.
Wind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Elesia Carey, and that's all the time we have. Welcome to Chit Chat. Today we're talking about something that's kind of it was your subject for today, involving success, and if you act a certain way, are you more successful? Do I have the crux of it?
The habits, you might want to. You can boil it down to habits of those who are quote unquote government standard successful.
Okay. Oh, here we go again with those government standards. Yes, I agree, and I think whether you work for somebody at a job, or you own your own company, or even if you're just doing the project, I think that this all kind of falls into place. I've often thought that your success was always based on not what you knew, but how you came off on other people. I always thought that if there's a room of people and you walk in the room, they should be turning around to say, "Oh, who is that?" If that happens, I think you're good. And it's not just appearance; there's just a way that some people have it. They just exude this like, "Oh, this is a special person" kind of feeling.
I understand that. Yeah, there is an aura of confidence, and sometimes there's an aura for those who are truly successful. But there's also people who I've been in a room with, and you wouldn't have known that they were millionaires.
I know.
Just they kind of like slink in the back. So
that's true.
I'm going to give you 50-50 on that.
All right, okay. It's a good score. I'll take that. I'll take that.
For me, and it's something that I'm learning as I grow more and more successful, is there's several habits that I've observed.
And what of those?
My first job that I ever got, straight out of college, production assistant, I was told just showing up is a success, and I laughed at that. I kind of laughed nervously, like, of course you show up. I mean, why don't you show up? You show up for a check.
Yeah.
You show up for the experience. Why wouldn't you show up?
No, actually, that's a Woody Allen line.
Okay.
Yep, and he said that most of it is showing up. Yeah, that's a Woody Allen thing.
And I went on to, I was probably somebody that never called out versus those who called out. So I ended up rising really quickly. Like within 6 months, I was.
But you showed up.
I showed up. Within 6 months, I was manager, and I went from manager to associate vice. It's very. So one, I definitely think showing up because literally most people don't, and on time, showing up and showing up on time.
Yes.
2, consistency, and persistence. Maybe they're both kind of the same in the same line, but there are times that I've pitched a client because as well as being a fashion designer and producer and screenwriter, I am also a publicist, as you know. And being a publicist, there are times that I pitch people, my information, and I never hear back from them, but I do it on a daily basis. And then I'll get an email that I sent out like 3 months ago or what have you. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But I realized the reason why I probably got this position or got this client is because I'm very persistent in looking for work, So that's one. And then I'm consistent about it. Not only I'm persistent, I'm consistent, meaning 5 days a week, 6 days a week. I'm churning the butter, I'm up. And then the other thing is, which you and I talk about as well, my words are very, very, very important to me. And I realized this because about 5 or 6 years ago, I remember being in a different place, and because I remember my words were very self-defeating. And really, I know it's like some people think it's, it's what have you. It's not really grounded in any kind of real theory or real what have you. It's not science, but it is, because people who are consistently or tell themselves or surround themselves with people that say that you're no good, you're not going to go anywhere, you're not going to be successful, all these kind of stuff eventually seeps in, and eventually you not only do you believe it, but it manifests itself. So that's the other thing. And then with that in mind, be around successful people. If you are, be around those who make it, be around those who you consider success, because literally the old saying of lying down with dogs and fleas is true. I mean, I've also been around people, even though I've been doing my stuff, been on my grind, these people were not doing their things. And believe it or not, in a few months, and I'm being honest, Ron, I found myself like, why are things not going forward for me? And it was the people who I surround myself with. I look good to them, yes, but I'm a producer, I'm a fashion designer, all that, but they weren't doing anything. So they pulled me back. I found myself not going forward, and it's a company you keep.
It is a company you keep.
And I realized that I look good. I'm catnip for them, but they were not catnip for me. And I had to cut and loose because I'd rather, in my opinion, walk with God, than be surrounded by those who are not of the same like mind or, set mind. So those are a few of my advice. My nuggets.
I don't care about the God thing. It's that you surround yourself by people that are motivating, and then you pick it up by osmosis from them. And yes, when you hang around with people that you're defeated and you don't get anywhere, there's no question about that. I also feel that when successful people are definitive in their responses, whether they're right or they're wrong, they're definitive. And I think most people find that very attractive. People that talk too much,
oh my gosh!
I don't think that works because they're just hearing themselves talk. But people who don't say much, but when they say something, it's oracle stuff. That works too. So but you can't be somebody that you're not. You can't mold yourself into something that you're not. But you can, by osmosis, not even realizing, picking up the traits. For example, when you go to England and you spend a month or two there, or even a week, and you come back, you've got this little British accent for some reason. You never had a British accent before. People think that you're just putting them on, but you actually pick that up without even realizing you're talking like that. It's
Correct.
the same thing with hanging out with successful and positive people.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
100%. You're absolutely.
Do we win a prize?
Right.
Do we get a prize for this? Or?
Well, we're both on today. I don't know what's going on. It's got to be in the water. But you're absolutely right about definitive people. Even though, say what you want about our current president, I'm not gonna say the name. But
I don't know who you're talking about.
But even definitive people, wrong or right, they get power. They have power, and just say it. This is black, and you're like, no, it's white. But they hang on to it like death grip. And yes, you're absolutely right. And I'm agreeing 1,000% with you about people who talk a lot. And I do believe that people who talk a lot, they do it to show. Like you said, it's more a show. It's more to kind of convince you, not convince them. I'm all about quiet. I'm all about. I call it. What do I call it again?
I don't know what you call it.
Quiet confidence. That's what I'm attracted to, and that's what I like, and I hope to emulate in that way.
I have. We shouldn't confuse success with power. A lot of people with power abuse their power to the point where they throw their money around. They bathe in their power. That is not attractive, and that doesn't mean power doesn't equal success to me necessarily. As a matter of fact, I find a lot of people with power to be incredibly obnoxious and the cess of human morals and emotions. So no, yes, and owners of company are sometimes unapproachable. And gigantic assholes who have no idea what the common person goes through because they weren't there or they forgot what it was like when they were there. So there's no there's not an equal sign there.
I like what you said about I forgot. I mean, one of my first internships, I remember the president. It was for an environmental film company, and I remember this woman who was the president being so nice to me. I was really, really, really floored. And I asked her, I said to her, you're so nice.
Yep.
And she said she will never forget her first job. And the person that was there was not nice to her. And she made it her mission to remember. And the same thing with me. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying, honestly, sometimes on the set, I'm a perfectionist, as you might probably know, and I do demand perfection. Whatever project I'm working on, whether it's a radio, TV, or it's an event, all the characters need to be on time, and the job needs to be done. And I want the client to be happy. So I'm a perfectionist. However, I will not step on people. I might have a moment where I think somebody's not doing what they're doing, and I'll pull them either aside or wait until afterwards to say, you know what. We could have, I really would have expected X, Y, and Z. But yes, I remember those who treated me well and not well, and I'm with her on that. I feel better about myself and about the experience when it's positive, Well,
for me, the entire any conversation we have or you have with anybody all boils down to respect. I think that's the magic golden word, without any argument. And if someone of power respects somebody else who doesn't have power, then I'll respect their power. No boss, no person of power ever has the right to call somebody else stupid or an idiot or a moron. And I'm speaking to you, Donald. Okay. Hey, this has been interesting.
Very.
Very.
I like it. I learned a new word, government. What was government issue?
Government standard.
Government standard.
Obesity,
that's gonna be. I'm gonna put that around there.
Well, check out the heavy people when they walk down the street, and I guarantee you they're going to be swaying as much as you are. I'm a special. I tell you. She's Elesia Carey. I'm Ron Van Dam. This has been Chit Chat. We'll do it again next week.